What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Batman has had an incredible lineup of villains over our lifetime, but today we have to look at some of the best from this past decade. So without further ado, I'm Taylor McWatters, you're you, let's dive in. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have Punchline. Joker's new right-hand woman, that's all Batman needs. Punchline, aka Alexis K, made her first debut in Batman Volume 3, issue 89. She was a student of Snyder College, great name, who had an encounter with the Joker on a field trip at a film studio. She was forced to deliver his message as a news anchor by gunpoint. Not a great scenario. But luckily, Batman saved the day, but this only made her obsessed with the Joker, seeing that his crimes served a greater purpose than Batman's resolutions. She then started out the same way most entrepreneurs do, by making a podcast. A podcast dedicated to the Joker, that is. So she researched his crimes, got to know about his work, created her own costume, started poisoning people to get the Joker's attention, you know, all the necessary first steps. Got sponsored by Dollar Shave Club, you know, podcast things. Hashtag just podcast things. In Batman Joker War, she poisoned Lucius Fox. Then when Batman arrived, she was standing waiting for him in her brand new batsuit that Lucius was forced to make. She also put up one hell of a fight with Harley Quinn. Like seriously, she almost killed her with a stiletto. It's badass. And before we go on to number 9, if you guys could go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, because it helps the channel out quite a bit and also helps out. I'm in a closet. Please like this video. Thanks. You guys are the best. Now back to the list. Number 9, the Underbroker. Not to be confused with the Underminer, Harlan Graves, aka the Underminer, is a businessman and lawyer located in, of course, Gotham City, who runs a bank for criminals. Forgot to mention that part. He runs a bank only for criminals, which is pretty sweet. The Underbroker, of course, wears a fancy suit and mask. I mean, how else are you gonna fit in with the whole Gotham stuff? I mean, he looks ready to go to the club, but he also looks ready to crunch some numbers, okay? This is my kind of man. He rocks a suit day and night. So yeah, he's a broker for criminals. So he would help them store cash in hedge funds, and he's actually so good at his job that the Caped Crusader doesn't even know about his secret organization, the Underbrokerage. Cool name too. I mean, not that creative, but still nice. He actually once helped Catwoman transfer Batman's money to her account, but it was later revealed that he was just getting the account info for Joker. Super smart. This guy's working under the radar. Super smart, super evil, and super handsome. Probably. I don't know. What's under that mask? He made his debut in Batman Volume 3, issue 92. So if you're looking for a place to start, that's probably it. Number 8, Court of Owls. William Cobb, the Talon. He made his first comic book debut in 2011 back in Batman Volume 2, issue 2. The Talon is an assassin for the Court of Owls, and he claims to have killed several Wayne family members, including Bruce Wayne's great-great-grandfather, Alan Wayne, which in my opinion doesn't look too bad on a villain resume. He's like, hey, check this out. Recognize that last name? Yeah. He began his early days juggling baseballs on the streets just to get by after his father had passed away tragically while building a bridge for Cameron Kane. So he would earn some cash and then sneak it into his mother's purse. What a gem. So far, so good. But you're also on this list, so it's gonna get worse. Then one day, somebody was watching his act and they got pickpocketed. So William Cobb hucked one of the baseballs at him, saving the day. The man offered him a job at the circus as a thank you, and he started using knives instead of baseballs to, you know, amp up the act, spice it up a little bit. And eventually he met his love, Amelia. Now, back when he returned to Gotham, now a celebrity, Amelia's father didn't like the two in love. So he told William to beat it, get out of here. So Amelia at this time was actually pregnant. So Cobb joined the Court of Owls and became one of the Talons and went back to Amelia's house to kidnap his son, and then his son ends up becoming the Gray Son of Gotham, John Grayson's father. In the Court of Owls, it's the best. This is the best thing ever. Number 7, Mr. Teeth. Okay, this guy is gross looking. Just all bad. Making his first terrifying appearance recently in Batman Volume 3, issue 86, we meet Gunsmith and him. Okay, Gunsmith I'll get into a little bit later because he's equally as cool. But we'll start with Mr. Teeth because it's Mr. Teeth. So this mysterious man was actually a serial killer from Portland who was nicknamed the Teeth Eater. He didn't eat teeth. What he did was actually kind of worse, if anything. So he does this neat little trick where he takes out the victim's teeth and then puts them in their stomach. Yeah, it's kind of hard to forget a villain like this once he pops up. My nightmares remind me about his existence quite often. So we're good. He was hired by Deathstroke as part of the designer's plan to take out Batman, and at the same time take out some criminals who, you know, did him wrong on the way. Mr. Teeth is cool. He's actually a hater of his own nickname. He thinks people don't understand his art. Number 6, Gunsmith. Also making his first appearance in the same issue, Batman 86, he's an assassin for hire. Douglas Worth has worked for numerous military contractors and worked in the Middle East more than a handful of times. He's experienced, creative, and quite dangerous. So he got fired from all those jobs that I mentioned because he used experimental weapons without permission. He's made a name for himself because he can create weapons out of pretty much anything he finds, which already is a cool enough villain for me to put on this list. But yeah, he was also hired by Deathstroke as part of his team. So after Batman had attacked Deathstroke and took down the other team members, Gunsmith was imprisoned at the Black Block with the rest of the crew before Deathstroke freed them again. Again, a newer villain, but one that I think we'll be seeing more of, or I hope we will be, because Douglas is pretty cool. Number 5, Flashpoint Batman. Okay, in the Flashpoint reality, back in 2011, we got to see a world where Bruce Wayne had to become Batman, right? And rather, he was the one killed by the mugger in the alley, which of course led to Thomas Wayne suiting up instead. And sure, he was the hero in this reality, but it's the work that the same alternate Batman did in The Button, written by Joshua Williamson and Tom King, that puts him on this list. So Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen investigated this button in the Batcave, and this button is quite strange. So Bruce notices that since they found it after Wally appeared, it's been acting strange next to Psycho Man's mask. So they used the cosmic treadmill to track the radiation, and it led them to the Flashpoint universe again. It led them to the cave of that Thomas Wayne. Now at first he's confused. He fights Barry a little bit and then ultimately believes them and then fights off these Atlanteans and Amazons while the treadmill was being fixed. So they have a good moment or two, you know, talking father and son before getting back in the Speed Force. One of the last things he says to Bruce is, "Don't be Batman. Let the Batman die with me," which is very important. That's a pretty wild addition to the conversation, like last minute, eh? So this button led them there for what reason still? They didn't really know. They have no clue. Thawne is back, now he has the button. What's happening? All the while, every time Thawne appears, he talks about this God thing, okay? This God creature. So Bruce is hanging out, repeating the words that his father said to him, still so curious what they meant. Well, later on after this event, it turns out Thomas Wayne was still alive and had been working with Bane in order to break Bruce Wayne, in order to make him give up being Batman. That's why he said that stuff earlier. He was planting those mental seeds nice and early. He even holds a gun up to Bruce, his own son, before Bruce knocks him out. I guess father-son time can be pretty hectic. Jeez. Number 4, Clownhunter. Making his first appearance in Batman Volume 3, Issue 96, Bao Pham is just a kid who stepped up to the plate when it came to taking back Gotham during the Joker War. Now, seeing his neighborhood being ravaged and torn apart by the Joker gang and having lost his parents to the Joker, he was pretty inspired to start beating people up, which is exactly what he did. He defended the innocent with a baseball bat, and he had a batarang attached in it to kill any clown that got in his way. That's right, kill, not knock out, the other K word, kill. So at the end of the event, he was confronted by Batman himself, who suggested to seek help and see a therapist. Coming from Batman, you're like, okay. He also offered to mentor Clownhunter, but warned him that he would not tolerate the teenage Bao killing anybody else, no matter what their crime was. No kill rule, right? Okay. Clownhunter seemed pretty interested in getting help, but only after his work was done. So he's like, sounds good, still gonna kill people. This guy has killed 24 people and he's only 17 years old. 24 people. So although his hatred for the Joker is pretty high and he's kind of on the right team, I would consider him more of a villain than an anti-hero. I mean, he's young, he's probably gonna turn into a villain. He is a villain, right? Can we talk about this? If Bruce tells you to go to therapy, he's probably onto something. That's all I'm saying. Number 3, Barbatos. Also referred to as the Bat God, which sounds a little bit cooler. He resides in the dark multiverse. So the World Forger, of course, was set to watch over the vast universes, and while some of them held up, there's of course some worlds that were just naturally unstable. So what next? Well, they send a dragon named Barbatos to destroy it. Barbatos, not Barbados. Barbatos. That way the energy can then return to the Forge. Now, sometimes you like your job a little bit too much, and this was the case for said Bat God. See, he ended up killing his master, and he had a real taste for destruction after that. Ooh. Thus corrupting the Forge of Worlds. So now, with Barbatos not destroying these worlds and sending that energy back, these worlds ended up becoming part of the Dark Universe. Not too shabby at all. His journey begins, of course, with Dark Days, the casting, issue 1. Number 2, Batman Who Laughs. The Batman Who Laughs, aka Bruce Wayne from Earth 22, is a touch different than the one we know best. The Dark Universe is a special and vast place filled with alternate versions of characters, but one of the most notable has to be the Batman Who Laughs. So scared. Making his first appearance in the Dark Days, the casting, this Bruce Wayne has, of course, similar origins that we're familiar with. Parents were murdered, became a crime-fighting bat, protects Gotham, all the good stuff. But this Joker has changed his path up. See, Joker began murdering everybody in Gotham. He bombed a hospital, and then he shot the parents of the kids. Just awful, like he's the worst. Even worse than what you already imagined. And he's also dying from the same chemicals that made him become the Joker in the first place. So of course he wanted to take everybody out with him. Then Batman luckily stepped in and killed him by breaking his neck, but the toxins from the Joker were inhaled by this Batman, causing this monstrosity to happen. So a day later, he's joined by Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Red Robin, who were training in the Batcave. And the Batman, who laughs, just kills them all. Like, he shoots them all. It's crazy. And this is just the beginning of his terrifying reign. Dark Knight's death metal is actually a lot of fun as well. It's pretty recent, so if you want to see the insane laughing Batman, that's a good way to go. And number 1, the Joker. One of the best villains of all time, still going strong this decade and serving up fear in the most horrible ways. Like, for starters, we got to witness the events of Death of the Family, also written by Scott Snyder, released in 2013. We see the Joker make his return to Gotham City after having his face sliced off. Yeah, he had the doll maker give him the facelift of a lifetime while he was in Arkham Asylum, but it was all part of his master plan. He busted out, stole his face back from the police, after of course killing several of them, threatens to murder the mayor, kills John Claridge, kidnaps Alfred, all while wearing the horrible reattached face. So his actions were horrible, and he looked like he had a bologna slice with makeup all over it. So, well, he ends up kidnapping all of the Bat family members, and then he made Batman sit at this table with them all, as it's revealed what's truly on the menu: their own faces. Yeah, everybody has bags over their heads, and then underneath they were wrapped in bloody bandages. It's really horrible, but fear not, as this was only another cruel joke. Therapy not included. Then we also got to see the events of Batman Endgame, written also by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, released a year later in 2014. And it's a 6-issue miniseries where the Joker releases an airborne virus so that every citizen in Gotham is turned into these mini Joker maniacs, running around, flipping cars, lighting stuff on fire. Now, that already sounds bad enough to make this list, but it gets a lot worse. The Joker also uses this to make the Justice League members try and kill Batman. So Batman had to use everything he has to fight off his powerful co-workers. It resolved with both the Batman and the Joker having their memories wiped. But those images of Gotham citizens with those horrid smiles drawn across their face, that just lives in your head rent-free. Well, there you have it, guys. This decade, of course, had some awesome moments from some of your other favorite villains. So comment down below which of your highlights you wanted featured on this list, and I'll read them, check them out, and we'll throw them on maybe a part 2. I don't know. In the meantime, guys, wash your damn hands, read some comics. We'll get through this. I'm Taylor McWatters. You're you. We'll see you next time. Peace.